wanted to talk about a minute ago before I got sidetracked, as always, was how the story is told in this game. I really kind of like that pretty much the entire, like, in regards to these Chozo lore entries we've been scanning, pretty much the entire backstory of everything that happens in this game is told through scans. There's no, like, explicit cutscenes explaining it, because you never talk to another living creature in the entire thing. All you do with other living creatures in this game is shoot them. It's actually kind of neat. But now, in the later Metroid Prime games will almost get, like, I want to say, more social. I don't literally mean that, because, well, there is a multiplayer aspect in Metroid Prime 2. Kind of a tacked on one, but still had fun with it when I was younger. What I mean is that there are more, like, NPCs in the game that you can talk to. In Metroid Prime 2, there's, like, one important guy you'll be getting your missions from throughout the game, and in Metroid Prime 3, there's a whole bunch of other characters you talk to. But this game is very isolated feeling. There's no one you talk to. There's no exposition through conversations. And the entire, pretty much, the whole backstory of what's happening here is just told through scans of Chozo lore, space pirate data, that sort of thing. And there's a couple bonuses we can get in this room, but not quite yet. We need to get some more of the power-ups from earlier. That's something I wanted to talk about earlier. Really back in the first episode, or the second, is when I should have talked about it. Back when we lost our power-ups. All of the Metroid games, or at least all of the Metroid Prime games, this stuff tends to go unexplained in the other Metroid games, but in all of the Metroid Prime games, they have some excuse. Wait a minute. Oh my god, what am I even talking about? I'm getting totally mixed up. In all of the Metroid Prime games, you do have to get some pretty basic power-ups. You know, you don't carry over all the power-ups from the last game, you only start out with very basic stuff. This is an interesting looking room here. Draining, which possesses traces of high-level toxins. My toxins, the toxin of toxins. Dun, dun, dun. In all of the games, you only start out with a basic selection of power-ups, and you have to get more throughout the game. But they're harsher about it in Metroid Prime than they are in any other games. In any other of the Metroid Prime games. They're harsher in the first one than in Echoes or Corruption. Mechanical device appears to be an active life form detected within hollows of machines. So, life form is a pretty broad term. It's, it could just mean it's moldy, you know? Worn but functional. Can only be reached by using the elevated bridge. No shit. But they really are a lot harsher about what power-ups they take from you in this game. And, anyway, here's our second boss battle. Kind of a strange one, I have to admit. But basically, these things are going to flood the room with water, so that we can only stand on this platform, because the water is toxic, and so we'll take damage if we step in it. New creatures entry downloaded to your logbook. Mechanoid, Hive Mecha. Security unit programmed to work with predatory hive dwellers. The design flaw makes the shielding on the Hive Mecha weak around their axis points. These units are second-generation combat drones, able to interface with organic units at a higher level. They train, shelter, and work with hive-dwelling predators. Unarmed, they rely on hive priests to handle any threats. Also, these war wasps here. This particular type of war wasp, the ram war wasp, is only appears in this boss battle. This is the only opportunity to scan it. So there's actually 2 exclusive creatures entries here. But they really don't behave that differently from the other war wasps, other than they're gonna circle. Okay, I guess that's pretty different. But basically, what they're gonna do is circle around you, and then pause, and then go in and ram you. And then once you kill all of the ones that are currently out, the mecha will open up a port, which is going to spawn an attack. And then it'll turn around and release some more. We just do this 3 times, but it'll release more war wasps each time. But it's not a difficult boss. second one in the game after all. We actually have less stuff than we did for the first boss on the tutorial level. Basically, you just have to shoot this feather with your hand. Destroy that, and there we go. Pretty easy. I guess I'll probably end up calling that my third episode, so see you guys next time. Alright. Hey guys, this is Dog here for more Metroid Prime. Last time we defeated our second boss, the Hive Mecha, and unlocked this item, which is not really new. We're just reclaiming something that we already had before we lost it on the space pirate ship. This is the missile launcher. Missile launcher acquired. Press Y to fire. Press A to switch back to beams. Missiles can destroy some blast shields on doors. Yep, now that we have missiles, we can destroy this. We can't actually do anything. We can't actually go through. Like, there's a morph ball tunnel here, which of course we can't go through yet because we lost our morph ball. But we can pick up this energy tank, which is a very good item that we'll want to get. What that does is it boosts your maximum health. And there's, I think, 14 or so energy tanks throughout the game. And I'm going to try to get all of them. I'm not going for 100% on scans necessarily, because I'm not actually 100% certain how to get 100% on scans. But I am going to go for all the items, because there's lots of optional power-ups you can get. There's energy tanks to boost your health. And you can boost your ammo. There's tons and tons of missile expansions in the game. Each one gives you 5 extra missiles. Adds 5 to your maximum carrying capacity for missiles. And as I mentioned earlier, there's another one late in the game that also uses ammo that we can get a few power-ups for. So even though it's not really necessary here, now that we can do it, I'm going to show off. We can destroy the War Wasp hives to prevent any more War Wasps from spawning. And there's actually 2 missile expansions in this very room. So destroy these blast caps. One of them is in this morph ball tunnel, which we can't go in yet, obviously. The other is behind this wall, because missile blasts can destroy things made of brimstone. And there we are, a missile expansion. Step 3. Missile expansion acquired. Maximum missile carrying capacity increased by 5. So, we already can hold up to 10 missiles. Now, the maximum number of missiles you can hold if you get every expansion is 250. So there's a lot of these to get. And a lot of them are pretty easy, and I'll just get them from memory throughout the course of the game. I'll try to get them as they open up with the new power-ups that we get. Here's a map station for this part of Chozo Ruins. But I'll probably end up forgetting some of them, and so I'll just tack that on towards the end of the series. Once we have all the major power-ups, I'll just go back and get all the power-ups I may have missed. But I am going to go for 100% on the items in this game. But yeah, this game is really harsh in terms of what it takes away from you at the beginning. This is the only one of the Metroid Prime games where they take away your ability to go into Morph Ball and your ability to charge your beam at the beginning of the game. Like in Metroid Prime 2, you never lose, or you've always got the Morph Ball ability. 2 and 3, you can always go into Morph Ball and charge your beam. This one, we actually have to go and get back Morph Ball and charge beam power-ups. And a funny thing, the charge beam power-up is actually totally optional. You can beat the game without ever reclaiming the charge beam. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% certain because I've never tried to do it myself. But I don't think there's any boss that actually requires... Oh, wait a minute, actually, I just realized there's a reason why you do need it. But you don't have to get it right away. Like, there's kind of a major boss in this area that you would normally probably want to get the charge beam before you fight him. But you don't need it to beat him. But you do need the charge beam to beat the game. I was wrong on that. I only just now realized what you need the charge beam for. So here we are back in this main plaza. they're John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Aw. I feel bad about killing them now. Now that I've made the obligatory music reference. So anyway, we can now blow up this blast shield on this door here, and progress through. So you can see if we look at our map, this is sort of the hub area that has a whole bunch of different places leading off of it. And there's power-ups to get in several of these areas. And there's also a lot of areas that we can't do anything, or where there's something we can't do yet, and we'll come back later after we have more power-ups. And there's a whole lot of that in this game. This might not exactly be your kind of game if you don't like backtracking, because you do have to go and revisit earlier areas a lot, but I think they do a pretty good job of keeping it interesting. Freaking scarabs. I really don't think there's any major flaws in this game. This is one of my favorite games. Just of all time, really, in general. Not my favorite, but I really love the Metroid Prime games. What could that be? Why, it's the morph ball. And here's a suspicious half-pipe again. Atypical smoothness. Blood sources. Sky summers. I promise I will not do that again. No, I don't. I will probably do that again at some point in this play. But I'll try to avoid it. So anyway, here's a bunch of beetles. They're really not much of a threat. You'll take more damage just running into them while strafing to shoot the other beetles than you will from them actually attacking you. Take more damage from them just bumping into you. So more of them will keep coming for a while, and then after we finish all of these, I don't know what that noise was, but here is a third boss that is getting a lot more weird, rotating, panty shots. It's really necessary. This is a plated beetle, well-armored burrowing insect, vulnerable only in the rear abdomen, as evidenced by the fact that it's red and appears to be glowing, where the rest of the creature is gray. Creature's thick cranial plating repel frontal attacks. This gives it an advantage in combat, allowing it to make ramming attacks, only surfacing when it detects vibrations above. It then maneuvers itself as to always face its rival, keeping its exposed out. Protected. God, I can't talk to that. It's not really doing that great a job of it, though, I have to say. Out here, the game is telling me about my ability to dash while strafing. That's an important thing for evading attacks in this game. I will use it all the time. This is not a very challenging boss, and these guys will actually appear not as bosses later on. These guys will actually appear just as normal enemies after we have, some health and power-ups and things. They do that several times throughout the game. Things that are like pretty much boss material earlier in the game ends up being a normal enemy later. In some cases, this ends up being pretty irritating. Okay, there we go. His long red point. By killing him. Seems legit.